So, demos status. Does anyone have demos? Matthias must have demos. What? You don't even have a PR open. You must have things done from last week. Oh my god.
I was going to demo the media field limited to upload images to a predefined folder, but I broke everything.
Okay, repeat that. To upload the media where?
There is an issue. I'm going to wait a little. There is an issue to upload images using the media field editor, but to upload the images to a predefined folder.
Ah, I see.
Without
Okay.
the media browser.
I see, to limit this. Okay, I see.
I'm working on this.
Okay, and the folder name should be templatable, so we could have a folder per blog post, for instance. Okay, just saying. Okay, good. Good job. That's nice. That. What else? We'll see. So we'll see for the demo. So nobody has demos, or does anyone have demos? We'll see if I have demos. So status. Then we'll see on the source code what's changed. Orchard 1, only one PR merge using default value in AuditTrail when title is empty, because that could be an AuditTrail without titles. And I did 2 fixes that I show later. I won't demo that. Translated encoding translations which are not encoded, and ensuring that the media whitelist is applied for the extensions. I'll show you later. Then if I go on OrchardCore, fetch all, here for next week. And if I do just see what was done in dev first. So what we have is about fixing to GraphQL and README and upgrade to fontawesome 5.5 and fontawesome-iconpicker 3.2.0. Yeah, and this 5.5 has actually a breaking change from the previous versions, which are 4, which is the name of the classes is different. It's a fab instead of a FA. It's FAB now. I don't know why, but I saw that yesterday while working on the new theme. I'll show you. Fix label on culture. Fix label on culture, so the 4 was wrong. Fix theme menu caching. We merged it. Apparently it was that the documentation was wrong and the way we called the caching was wrong also in the liquid template. Testing GraphQL BagPart testing. So this is actually fixing the test. I think, is it fixing the test or? Yeah, no, it's fixing the BagPart, which we're using the name BagPart instead of the name of the BagPart. Okay, so when you have named parts, then we should not use the part type, but the name of the part, because you can name parts now. So you fix that. Yes, here a new contributor who did some improvement on the documentation. which I assume now is broken, right? Last time we saw the PR, when we merged it, it was broken, and I created a site on Azure Websites, but I'm waiting to get the permissions to add Antoine as the owner of this Azure website. And I assume, because I don't have any answer yet from the owner of the subscription, I will check with Antoine to do it with him. If you're okay with that, Antoine, or maybe we can do that on Thursday. You prepare what we need to do on the site and we'll configure it. But yeah, so Yassir just made fix some, improve the style for the razor/liquid tabs, and fix some styling on the documentation. Fixing GraphiQL and tenants. So I changed the name of the menu, which was too long, and I call it GraphiQL, like the name of the actual thing. Apparently James didn't like it, but he's okay with that. And I fixed the URL, which was not compatible with tenants. So if you have tenants with GraphQL, you cannot use GraphiQL. Oh, demo reverse proxy. Yeah, you can do that. Yes. We said yeah, you could not do that last week. Okay, we'll do that. And I don't think you showed that. Fixed MenuItem.Level values. So the level of the menu item were not updated correctly. So Colin Bridgewater fixed it from bridgesquare.com. Someone from England, I'm sure. Recipe migration. So Himanshu merged that, and we can show it. Is Himanshu here? Nope, but I can show the differences now. So we merged his PR. So we can now execute a recipe from a migration with a single line of code, which means you can have your migrations in recipes now. For instance, the content type migrations, when you create types, much easier. App.Targets reference OrchardCore. What is that? Okay, fixing references that are necessary or not necessary. Good. Added info and migration folder convention. So documentation on migration and how to write a recipe for migrations. Fixes admin node creation in Saas recipe. There was an exception with shape not found for the Saas recipe when using admin nodes. Now it's fixed. Thank you, Matthias. Fixing GraphQL test. This is the fix for the GraphQL test, which was not thread safe, and actually it was an issue in the shell host apparently. So now it's fixed. Fix validation on SMTP test settings. Jasmin fixed the validation. Adding templates. What did I do? Oh, I updated the .NET new templates to add 2 new templates. One to create. Did I do 2 new templates? Maybe. One to create. One to create. I updated documentation also. So first I changed the name of the package, because CMS templates, and I wanted to add templates for non-CMS stories like a modular application. So now you can create a modular web app, which is not the CMS from template, and you can also create a module which is not for the CMS specifically. OC MVC and OC CMS module, because then there is also OC module, which won't create the parts and everything. So new templates, and also there was a bug that OrchardCore was not referenced by the template, so you could not do add OrchardCore, so the templates were not working. Now it's fixed. Ideally, during the CI, we should export all the packages in a folder and then try to run from the packages, like create templates and see that the template works and everything. At some point we'll do that. This is just my fixing the site settings deployment because of typo in the name of the values of the properties of each input. So you cannot select multiple items. Improving migrations from Imanshu. Mostly documentation, and didn't find a specific method. Create async, because now you can do create async. Using HTTP request message for client API. This is fixing some concurrent issues with the client API, which is an API that Nick made to query GraphQL using C#. And now it's working better because we are using specific HTTP request messages instance instead of adding headers to the shared HTTP client, which doesn't work when you have multiple tests running at the same time. I mean, editing the headers of the same HTTP client doesn't work. This is a PR from David Hayden that adds paging at the BagPart level. So when you have a bag of items, you can now page it. And I merged the PR from Michael for the coming soon theme, tested all around, and that works nice. I will show you. So let's see. Facebook, I don't think we need it for that. And I also merged his PR for Facebook authentication. I tested it. We made some changes, and now it's in. Beautiful. The next one should be not CORS, not reverse proxy, but reCAPTCHA. Questions about the changes? I can remove the filter here if I can to see what's still going on. Chanter is still working on distributed. He made some new progress on the clusters. This, I don't know what it is. Maybe I just forgot to clean the branch. What else? Master. Oh yes, we released a new version of master. We were forced because Antoine made a PR to update the dependencies on dev. I asked him to make a PR for master. By mistake, he merged into master. By chance, fortunately, it didn't work because something failed, like a transient issue failed. So that's good. It didn't push NuGet packages. Then I was able to, yes, because of this thing, NPM was out of date. So then I merged, I updated that, and then the NuGet API was not up to date. So which means we were saved by the NuGet API not being up to date also, which is good. And we had too many failures in master that we could not screw up master. That's good. So now we have a new version on master, beta 2 still, but that fixes the Razor view issues that you had a week ago when you tried the templates from beta 2, which was a shame. So now it's updated. Did I miss anything? Any update on release schedules? No, I think it's ready. I will see with Benedek, same as last week. I got him on mail, so we'll see what we do. It should be super soon. You can take 1.10.3 is the new release at 1.10x, but yeah, we should release very, very soon. I did some changes last week to fix some bugs I wanted to fix before we ship, and then I think we are ready. We should release it. I will check with him. Good, then that's it for last week. No, something else. Let me check the branches. No other branch. Okay, demos. Let's start with the guests, which are Mathis and Michael, but I will represent Michael. So Michael. So giving access. Where is my window? Making you a presenter.
Yeah, thanks. I did not prepare anything for course, so.
It's okay. You can just show the things it does if you want.
So reverse proxy is about when you host your OrchardCore web app or CMS behind a proxy. I created here a proxy in IIS, and it does an URL rewrite of the incoming requests on port 5000, and it applies HTTPS. My OrchardCore solution is now running, and it's on HTTPS, and you can see in I enabled the reverse proxy in the modules, and you can see this is HTTPS. It also says, okay, in the settings of the reverse proxy module, it says, hey, look, we received this from HTTP, and it's running on localhost 5000. You can enable it very quickly through the features. Just enable it here, and then you can configure in the ASP.core middleware to look for the forward headers. And when you generate a URL, it will take these headers and into account, and then it will generate the correct URL. Otherwise, let's say you have an external login system that needs a return URL, and then you give it a HTTP URL instead of a HTTPS. So when we now enable the reverse proxy, OrchardCore will pick it up and say, look, we're running on localhost and it's HTTPS. So this is the same instance, and it's now HTTPS.
How do I know it's HTTPS?
Because it says so here in the reverse proxy.
But how do I see it's HTTPS here? I don't see it.
I think it's HTTPS.
What about you type HTTPS?
Oh yeah, fine. I can also do that.
Because I didn't see
but
it.
But I think Chrome, it will strip it.
Yes, if it's not HTTPS, it will say it's not secure.
Oh yeah, it's now secure. Sorry, yeah, of course. It's now secure. I did not make a HTTP to HTTPS rewrite. You can also do that in your reverse proxy. Just redirect it automatically to HTTPS. That's also possible. That's also fine.
Okay, but so if we try to go HTTPS on the Orchard instance directly, it should not work, right? Or
HTTP for, you mean the local port for 5000?
5000 on HTTPS.
On HTTPS, no, it's not running on HTTPS.
Just to be sure. Okay, it's not there.
So
there are two things for the proxy module, the reverse proxy module. There is the fact that the first thing is that the headers, the domain headers, the host headers, they will be forwarded to the proxied instance, and they will behave, well, the proxied instance, which is Orchard itself, will generate links using the domain that was used on the proxy. That's the first thing. And that's done using a middleware. And there is an option actually in ASP.NET to do that. So I assume you used this option, this middleware. The ASP.NET middleware has that. It's just a way here to be able to configure it through a module and not by code, which is the first thing, which is nice. And and then there is the fact that
there are more options in the middleware, but this is just the first.
Okay. But then the second thing that this module provides is that if you run on HTTPS with the Edge proxy, that it will be not Orchard that will do the HTTPS termination, but something else, the proxy, which is what you also configured, that IIS is right now doing the HTTPS encoding. You need to tell Orchard that it's running in HTTPS, so you can generate HTTPS URLs, but also you, like if there are security features in OrchardCore that require HTTPS, they will say, okay, it's not currently a request in HTTPS, but I need to trust it's HTTPS, right?
Yep.
Examples are cookies. if we force a cookie to be HTTPS only, will it work in this context? Will it understand that?
I think so, yeah. That's what the middleware is supposed to solve, but I'm not quite sure because I haven't tested it fully yet. We just needed a way for to be hosted behind a reverse proxy, and we did it in code first, and then in development it was kind of a hassle to comment it out. So I said, okay, I'll make a module out of it, and then we can configure our production instance to behave differently.
Okay.
And it worked, and then I decided to share it back, but I did not do testing with cookies and all those things. So
okay, good. So
I think it works.
Value I see that you display the values that are currently used. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, that's for testing purposes.
No, that's
so
good.
that you know that it's working, because otherwise you're like, okay, how do I check this?
So when you save, it restarts the tenants, right?
Yep.
So you need to display the warning. It's just a div notification to let people know that when they save the settings, we have it everywhere.
Yeah.
So
I'll make me a task.
Okay, I didn't see this PR. So will you make a PR for this one? I think
this is already in, I think.
Yeah, I forgot about it. It was last week, but you didn't show it last week.
Yes, no.
Okay.
It's from dev. So I don't know if I can display course.
Okay, do that, and in the meantime I will check we have it in dev.
I think this is in dev.
Yes, it is. Sorry, forgot. No, I got it.
It's okay. Ay. I forgot. Oh wait.
This is a PR in Orchard.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Git, so maybe you can show another demo, and then I continue with preparing for course, and then I'll let you know if I'm ready.
Thank you. So I will show first a new theme. The newly merged theme. It's an old theme that has been merged only recently. And the idea with this theme is not about what it shows, but how it's done, which will be a good way to explain to people how to do advanced recipes. So I deleted the app data. By the way, if you want to install Visual Studio, whatever version I have 15.9, okay, which is a public release. Do it. It works so much better with Git. I don't know what they did, but I could not switch branches before in Orchard because I had to close the solution, switch branches, and reload it. It would break Visual Studio all the time. Now with 15.9, I did that 5 times already, changing branches while it was open, and it didn't break anything. It was quite fast, actually. Super happy with that. So I want to show that. So I will do but I will still do a debug mode just in case I need to see what's happening, because it's on dev branch now, and I just tried it. I didn't try it on dev branch so far, so maybe there will be an issue. It's done. Okay, so call it demo. The new recipe is coming soon website. A site with just an image that will let you register users that want to be notified when the site is ready. It's like construction. site. So this one from Start Bootstrap templates, and so we are working hard to finish development, blah blah blah. So this is a text so there is one content item that contains all the content and the widgets and everything, and these social media icons, and like the agency, so it's the same single page application without JavaScript. And if we go to admin, interesting, I think I forgot something. No, I didn't. So if we go to admin, we see that the workflows module is enabled. We can go to content items. By the way, we could reuse some admin node here to show the main content item directly here, because the home page is the main thing we want to edit in this case. So coming soon, you see there is no menu. Coming soon is the only page we have. It contains, so this is the home page. It is a form, okay? Because the home page contains a form, so it is a form. So it has, if I go on the content types and look at coming soon, it has the form part, okay? So this is a form. It also has the flow part, so it contains widgets. It has no custom fields. Well, it has no custom fields, but it has social icons, which is a back part, I think, of social icon content type. And if I go back here, the form itself is a post. The goal of the form on this home page is that if a user types an email, then we'll have the reCAPTCHA validation, and then they will receive an email to verify their email. Okay, and then they will be registered on the site. So here, if I go there, this is the validation summary, which is a form element to show validation errors that will appear right there. There is a register element that is just the text that we see on the home page here, and the form. See here. But if I so this thing, yep. And then there is a no captcha, the reCAPTCHA element, which will change to the one that Mathis is working on, because we'll move the reCAPTCHA to the reCAPTCHA module, because we'll have only one settings. So this one I don't care right now. I didn't even try it, but I removed it for my tests. So we can remove it, but if we remove it, we also need to remove the validation in the workflow. And then the social icons. I need a title, just informational title, so that it displays correctly here. I modified to use an icon class because we have that now. I think there's a bug because I need to click twice on the thing here, but otherwise it works. The URL, okay, Facebook. So we have 3 icons, and if I change them, obviously it will change. So that's the home page, and the workflow, user registration, which looks complex, but mostly because of the reCAPTCHA actually, because it needs a fork to validate multiple different things. Could be simpler actually, but what it does is just send an email to the user. So register the user, validate form, registers the user, and that will also send the email validation if you enable that, and inform user that with notification, redirect to the home page, and that works. What else? That's about it. So let's see if I remove completely. Let's see that. So I will remove validate form fields. I will remove that. I will remove. It's a fork, so I can remove it. All I need is to do that. Okay, and I will save. And now I will go in the content item and remove the no captcha because I trust myself. Publish. So if I go there, I don't have no captcha. What you need to do is configure the SMTP settings. And for testing, as usual, the super useful specified pickup directory. Save. And then here, F5, I can type my email, whatever, real email. Notify me. Thank you, confirmation email has been sent. And if I look into my folder, SMTP, I got this email that was sent. You see, the correct email, thank you for your interest, please click here to confirm your email. And once you do that, it didn't work. Oh, because I forgot to enable also, sorry, registration. User can register a new account on the site. I think that's what is necessary. And maybe we should have it by default. Nope, still didn't work. I must have done a mistake. Okay, I'll check that. That's weird. Because it looks good. Or maybe I didn't try the validation from the task, but that's weird. I thought I had done that. I'll check, because when I did try to register, like this, yep, I believe this one works. So maybe there's an issue with the, yeah, you see that works. Okay, maybe that I have an issue with the code. I think that's what Michael said to me, but I thought it was working. Okay, I will check that. An issue with that. That's the new theme, minus the little bugs. But you see, I could remove the no captcha by changing the workflow and removing the form element. The templates are in the templates module, so we can be customized. See, coming soon, widget register, so we can customize the display. But nothing special here, just from Start Bootstrap, and that's it. So yeah, the idea is that I think we should have an article to explain how this theme was done and the specificities of this theme, which is that we have that, but we can configure a workflow in the recipe. So the workflow comes from the recipe. Workflow type. Okay, user registration and the activities, what they do. So this is done by using export. You can export a workflow and then put it in a recipe file. Yeah, so that's the idea. Recipe, and what else? The form also from the recipe. So everything is, and the form will trigger the workflow, which is super nice. So this is why you have here an example of how where there is a call. I will find it here. Get your prefix, create workflow token. So you see, you can use JavaScript methods to create even the workflow tokens to protect your workflow endpoints with specific Saas tokens. That's good. So that's a good example of how to make a workflow and a form in a recipe. And that's it for this demo. Are you ready, Matthias?
Yes, I'm ready.
Can show.
Yeah. So CORS. CORS stands for cross-origin requests, and it's also again a middleware from the ASP.NET Core team. Standard behavior of ASP.NET Core websites is that they allow single origin requests, and they reject things that come out of the origin. We had a problem because we host the Kevin's solution for OpenID on a different server, and we had a Swagger installed on an API that wanted to use the OpenID server, and then the OpenID server said, no cross origins, I'm not going to authorize Swagger. So we made a code change, and again we moved it to configuration, and we shared it back. So it's currently in the PR, that's in the code review. You get again in the settings you get CORS, and you can make policies here that can be described here with origins. You can allow certain methods. It's pretty straightforward. We just allow anything. But if you want in production environment, I would advise you to make this more tight security. So for instance, you can say I allow only post, or I allow only request from a certain origin, and it's pretty straightforward. Oh, sorry. And you click save, and then you get a warning. And then it loads standard. It loads all the policies. There is in the UI. It's currently not checking if they are valid URLs or if they are valid HTTP headers. We can all add that, and maybe in a later pull request if there's need for it. But basically, it just configures the ASP.NET middleware, and it allows you to do CORS.
Where do we use the policies? Are they registered automatically, or do we need to register them for specific endpoints?
But I think this is site-wide. I don't think it's for specific endpoints. I don't think you can configure specific endpoints.
And by setting policies, they are all active. Yeah, I wanted to do a bit of, maybe later you can set active or maybe toggle them. Yeah, Matthias will love it. He loves enable buttons.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if we have multiple policies, maybe we'll also need to be able to import and export them. So that would be nice to have a deployment step.
Okay. Yeah.
So that you could reuse them and configure them in the recipes, because you will want that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That looks good.
Yeah, it's a little Vue application that I wrote. There are some quirks in it, but it does the job.
I hope Jasmine will say something that I will agree with. Let me see. It's typing. Also, folder. No folder setting. A list of no. Why a folder setting? Why will you want a folder setting? What's the folder setting? No. A list of policies is already good. If you have more than 2 policies, I'm like, okay, what are you doing? So, but what I wanted Jasmine to say is that it could use some Vue.js love, like a nice UI, which is just a single component to edit the policy and to select all the tabs you have, like origin, headers, methods, credentials. I'm sure we could have a single screen that shows everything in a tree, and you can add, like an MMC view in IIS where you have a tree of properties and you can edit that. That would be much better, much easier, much nicer.
Much nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have very poor UI skills.
That's okay. We have people who are better and can help also. We have Matthias and Jasmine who can help.
Well, you can always make a PR, huh?
But anyone could do better here, I'm sure. So anyone is free to help. And you know,
thanks.
That's not your strength, so that's fine. You do the technical part, let the UI part do the others. Okay, that's good. That's nice. I like it, and I see that James also approved it already.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Nice demo.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What did I miss? I think one of the demos. I won't show the Facebook authentication because we already saw a demo the past weeks from Michael, and I tried it. It was working. Made some little refactoring, but now it's merged. The good thing is that now Michael is completely free. His two PRs are merged, so I will be able to ask him to do more things. I have some ideas. Should be easy for him. I'll see when I can grab him on Gitter on Skype. And the reCAPTCHA also feature from Mathis is coming on very well. We are just missing the reCAPTCHA widget from the forms module to be moved into the reCAPTCHA module.
Yeah, there's also a workflow part that needs to be moved.
Yeah, I saw that when I was doing the demo. Yeah, the proactivity. That should not be hard because the code is done from his side, which will just copy paste what is done and change the services to use your services.
Yeah.
It should be exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but we then get the dependency from reCAPTCHA to the CMS part, but that's okay, I guess.
CMS part. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, so it's
if you want to use it strictly as a website feature, but
nobody will do that.
We will.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure you just need the abstractions from the content management. That's it. You don't need the features. So that's just a small dependency.
Well, I think there are some. We'll see.
And if anyone wants to do that on the PR, I'm sure Mathis will be thankful. So that's the main big PRs to come. Okay. Oh, you are sharing, so I will share. You're right. So I will share back. Where is my screen? Oh, this is the button. Sorry. Oops. So that's the most topics interface. So a few weeks ago, I tried something which worked. So I will show you what it was. I lost the demo. I'm sure I lost the demo, but at least I remember what it was. So I'm not sure I will be able to find. Let me see. JSON.NET dynamic proxy. I can find the repository that I used. If there is a purple link, JSON.NET dynamic proxy. Crap. GitHub. Let's see if I can find it on GitHub. I can't find it, so I will explain what I wanted to do only, and that works. So close folder. Let's see. So the idea is that when we are in a part, let's say we have a content item, and the content item has a .content property. Okay, this .content property is a dynamic. So because it's a dynamic, we can do content.foo or whatever part, like title part dot title. Okay. Oh, it's a bad example, but that's okay. Title part dot title, and this is a dynamic object. What we do to fix that, because we don't want dynamics, we do dot as title part dot title. Okay, and what this thing will do is, so behind the dot content, so let's say I say var equal content equals that's dynamic. Let's do that this way to be clear. So what happens is that title part, what we return from content is actually a JObject, okay, a JSON.NET type that contains a JSON representation of the data. Because we deserialize the content item into a C# class, but this property here will still be bound to a JObject. And content is returning a dynamic, so that we don't see a JObject, but we can access properties, and they will be mapped to the JObject properties and values and arrays and everything. Okay, and everything here is dynamic. If we want to lose the dynamicity and to be strongly typed, we do .as, and .as will instantiate a new title part object, which will be the deserialization of the JObject property. Okay, so we deserialize the JObject into, or it's already deserialized, but we transform the JObject into an instance of title part. So what happens if you want to change the title of the title part? You could say something like equals foo. Okay, but what you are doing is, it's like you have a new object title part, you change its property title, but you didn't change the JObject property which was attached to the content item. You changed a clone of the title part graph. Okay, it's a new object that you changed. So in OrchardCore, what we need to do is something like .as title part, and then there is an apply, and then you say something like var title part equals that. Then you do title part dot titles title equals foo, and then we do content apply title part, something like this, and maybe we have to pass either a name or a type, like apply type of title part. Okay. And what the apply will do is it will bind back the title part instance we have here to the property name title part of the content item we have. Okay, so this is why we have apply. So we extract the JObject into a title part instance, we change the instance, and then we map back the title part instance into the JObject structure of the content item. This is what every driver, every part driver, every field driver is doing when we want to update some data. Okay, but you don't see the apply, because what we do in the driver. So if I look at the driver, you see in the update we get a part. This part is something that the coordinator of the drivers will give you from the part definition. So it knows, oh, let me extract the JObject property name menu part, let me give you an instance of this class, and this is what you have to update. And the contract is that, yes, okay, we can update the part properties. Okay, and then we return that, and what the coordinator does is that it knows you changed that, and it will reapply back the change you did to the JObject. So let me show you. At some point there should be an apply. You see, content item apply, the name of the part and the part. Okay, so there is a, that's how there is a round trip between the JObject and the class. So why am I talking about that? Is because it would be nice if we could just say everything we did here, but not that. Okay, the same way, it would be nice if when we do as, actually directly the JObject that we are manipulating, because the title is a J string. So it would be nice that when we do dot title, we're actually assigning that to the J string represented inside our content here, and that's technically doable. So the idea would be that when we do as, we return a class inheriting from that with all its properties that are proxies to the actual JObject tokens that are represented in the content item. And when we add new items, it will create new JObject and so on and so forth. So this is doable using dynamic proxies, and I made it work. It was working fine. The only issue is that you can only create a dynamic proxy on an interface. So because that is a class, I can't do that. But if title part is called iTitlePart or is an interface and not a class, then we can do that. So we have options here to either change, if we want to be able to do that. And the two advantages are performance, because we don't have to convert back and forth the items. We don't have to create new strings and everything. I mean, the JString will be the backing field. If we want to do that, we will need to change the parts into interfaces, which should be fine, because when I look at all the parts we have, we don't have any logic inside. Okay, if I look at all the implementations, auto-route part, just data, you see, all of them, they are mostly just data. I'm not sure we have any one that is not just data, because that's what we use parts for. The logic is extracted into handlers and drivers. So if we had all the parts be interfaces, then we could have this logic automated using dynamic proxy. So when we do as, we actually have a proxy, that a layer, a facade that will actually modify the inner JObject or JTokens that correspond to the tree of the content item directly, without passing by an actual instance of a title part that we have to bind back. So I made a prototype that was working, and I wanted to explain that to you before I decide to do a change. That will be breaking, but that could be good on the long run. And again, it's not, it will just change the way we write content parts. We could decide to prefix them with an I, which I don't think we should. We don't have to. So we could just say that title part, for instance, instead of like this thing, instead of being a class, we could just say interface. Okay, and make content part also an interface. And that will just be the changes. That I think we could also, we would also otherwise need to have all our properties to be virtual, which I find uglier. That's another option, but I'm not sure even sure that Castle Proxy supports that. That was the topic I wanted to talk about. Questions, comments? No questions, no comments. That's good. I will show that to other people who care about breaking changes or inner workings of Orchard. But that's an idea, so we can do that. I'm not sure about the perf improvements. Will there be, maybe in terms of memory? I have to test. Good. Then we are done right on time, if you have any more questions. So next meeting will be on Thursday, and probably will tackle the documentation website with Antoine if he wants to help us. Thanks everyone. Oh, maybe Rob, you have a question? I don't know. Okay, thanks everyone. See you on Thursday. Bye bye.
Bye bye.